Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. I hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against a 1963 from Ireland. We have another French. 2 games in a row. I think yesterday was a French, if I remember right. I don't know. Anyway, we'll go for our 2-night setup against the French like we always do. And see what they have in store for us. They've made a move, I think. There we go. Bishop E7. That's a weird move. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Bishop E7. I don't even know what to consider playing here, to be honest. We could play like a King's Indian attack, I guess. I don't see anything particularly wrong with that. We'll go with the fianchetto first, rather than committing with D3. Seems a bit more flexible, I think. But this is a very strange approach to the French. Maybe they were just confused by knight F3. But, I mean, D5, it doesn't really change D5. I'm not contesting D5 at all. A6 as well. Wow. We're in for a strange one, I guess. And they've transferred it into a Sicilian, which is fine. We're in more familiar territory now. I don't know why they bothered doing this instead of just going straight for the Sicilian. I guess the Sicilian and the French sort of go hand in hand. But yeah, it just seems strange. It just seems strange to me. We'll castle, get the rook on E1, and we've got a familiar setup. Go E5 as well. This is strange beyond strange. I don't know what's happening. So E5 is a strange move in the King's Indian attack. I've not played it for a while. But the reason why is because you've already played E6 against the French, you know, and D5. So we're usually looking to push E5 ourselves. And to be fair, we probably could have pushed E5 there rather than castles. But, like, it doesn't seem like a particularly natural move. We have the outpost of D5 after they push D6. And they don't have their counterpart outpost of D4 because we've got this C3 pawn there. The problem is their bishop's opened up, which it wasn't before when they had E6 played. That was blocking in their bishop, but now it's not. So we might need to be a bit wary of that. Potentially our plans have changed. What we want to do, I'm not sure. But I think our plans probably have changed. We could look for an A4. I'm not really sure what A4 is doing, though. A3, B3 could be a shout. But then, like we say, we've lost control of the D4 square. If we take with the A pawn, then we're sort of opening up this C pawn. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. We could jump in with knight C4, but they're looking to play D6 anyway, so that just sort of gives them an excuse to play it, really. Which I don't think particularly benefits us well, although that does allow us to potentially get our bishop active on E3. Again, not that it's doing much on E3 either. So this is a strange one. We can think about maybe a queen B3. But potentially we're getting kicked around with bishop E6. Yeah. We could also get the knight onto E3 as well. We don't have to defend anything, so we might as well try get this knight over to E3, where it's looking at both the F5 and D5 squares. Could be quite nice, especially if we're able to trade off this dark squared bishop. I think would be good. And I think that forces off a trade of bishops. It does weaken this with E takes F5. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'm not quite sure. We can look for an A3 here. We could look for a C4 here if we wanted to live with giving them this outpost. I'm not so sure. Knight takes. Where does their knight go, actually? Is a great question. Where does their knight go? I don't think they can actually go anywhere with that knight. We have this pretty much locked down. It goes to a5, but then again, where is it going? It can't go to either of these two squares. And I think I'd happily trade off the dark squared bishop here. Play the bishop pair once again. Oh, we know how that worked out last time, don't we? Yeah. We can play a knight g5 as well, hitting this light squared bishop. Potentially as well looking for an f4 push. I think that could work well. They take with the knight rather than the queen. Is strange to me. We're going to go knight g5 anyway, and then look for f4. I'm still happy here. I'd probably push f5 maybe. I think it's better than opening up the center. We're going to drop back to f3 as well. And we fixed a lot of our problems, I think, here. This bishop's got a lot more room to play. We've got this f4 push, so we can potentially get in the rook in. I think it's quite nice. We're not going to take. We're probably just going to end up playing h3. I think it's solid. And then do queen takes. Queen takes seems good. I mean, we're doubling up with the rook and bishop. We're potentially looking at some doubling, maybe doubling this way. I don't know. We're covering the knights there. I'd like this bishop to be open a bit more, but we can't really do that without opening up the center, which I'm not a fan of because we have this sort of backwards d-pawn. They are looking for a c4 push. I think here we go bishop e3. So then we can push d4. And then do bishop takes. I think is going to really, really help us. We can get this rook on c1. d1 potentially could work as well. Probably actually slightly better on d1. b4's an interesting push. I think we just ignore d4 though. And we definitely have to take this with the bishop, right? We definitely have to take this with threat of bishop takes h6, with queen takes knight. We can still do this. We can still do this with queen takes knight afterwards. We're up a pawn. We do get rid of the bishop pair, but I think we just have a nicer position out of it. They still can't do much. There's no counterattack for them. Knight there is a potential threat. With the a double attack there, so then they can take. That's so interesting, actually. That's so interesting. We can't do this because of knight there. That's wow. That's a great tactic. We could think about going there. But knight takes. It doesn't look ideal. It doesn't look ideal. There is thoughts of going queen g5 afterwards. With the direct hit on the pawn. In fact, actually that works, right? Takes, knight there. Queen up to f5. No, what am I saying? There, knight there. Queen up to f5. Knight takes queen g5. Pawn up, rook takes. Right? With threat of takes, queen takes. Mating. But the problem is... knight there. Queen up then takes is annoying. Takes, queen takes, rook takes, knight takes, but we get this pawn at the end of it. Takes, oh my god, it's a takes train. It's a takes train. And then we're also getting this pawn at the end of it as well. That works? That works? I don't know. I think it works. Knight there is an interesting try. Which we probably should have seen before. They go for this line, though. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Why not? There, Queen G5, right? There, Queen G5, Knight E8. Very good try, but Queen takes. So we go there. Knight E8 covers the G pawn. Queen takes, Rook takes. So complicated. So complicated. Let's go for it. Queen G5. Yeah, 98. Yep. Knight Queen takes, Rook takes. Oh, Bishop G5, intermezzo. Bishop G5, F6. F6, Bishop. Back. Knight takes, Rook takes. What are we there? Okay. I don't know. We could also go Queen D5. Interesting try. Queen D5 I don't mind, actually. Queen D5 I don't mind at all. With threats of Bishop G5 is the idea. We've got a minute. Oh my gosh, we have a minute. This is not enough time. This is not enough time at all. Oh my gosh. We can think about a B3. They throw in check. King up. Not to H1 because of knight check. Takes. Oh no. E5. Oh, you throw that in. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, but then we go there. With Bishop E3. We're going to run out of time. We're going to run out of time. Bishop E3 threat. Queen D2 if knight takes. We also have E5 as an idea, potentially. Still looking to play B4, I think, is a good move. B4 is a great move, actually. Not anymore, I guess. We'll still do B4. Try to do a Bishop F4, double up the rooks. After rook takes, knight takes, knight takes, rook takes. Sorry, then double up the rooks. En passant, by the way, loses the knight. They sort of have to do this, right? I think. I hope. Otherwise, I'm running out of things to calculate, to be honest. We'll try Bishop F1 as well. If not, to try kick the rook out. Yeah, they take. Queen D1, potentially if knight there. Knight there, Queen D1, rook over. We'll also go for a rook F5. Rook F5 is good, right? Discovered on the queen. No way we do this. There is no way we do this. Oh, queen blocks a check. No way. Keep going. I could have taken that. I think this is drawn, right? Maybe not. Maybe we win. This is insane. Sorry if I'm not talking. I'm full focus on this. Push. I don't know. Ah. I want to go queen d5. That's an annoying check. We good though? This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. I don't know what I'm doing. Queen d7, check. Yes, they resign. No way. That wasn't there. Why? I don't know why they resigned. You can still play that on there, right? Oh no, that's mate. Duh. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was scary. That was so scary. We had no time there. Wow. Oh. The queens are so tricky. The queens are so tricky. Luckily, we got some advantage out of that. Wow. I don't think we were ever really losing there. There was a couple points where it was drawn. But I think we did well to win that, to be honest. 81.5 versus 74.3. 2100 versus 1800. Wow. So yeah, weird opening. Gone into a French French Sicilian King's Indian attack. And I say this every time I play the King's Indian attack. The computer will hate my moves. It's simple as. But it's a system that I like. There is some theory behind the moves. I don't know. It's probably that it just doesn't work in this position, or that it's just not the best move, and that they're still fine. But there will be a lot of slight inaccuracies, a lot of quote-unquote good moves. But yeah, still playable. E5, there's problems with that, I think. And yeah, they definitely had to play D6. I don't know why I didn't take this pawn. I don't honestly know why I didn't take this pawn. That's a free pawn. Hey. I don't know. We went back anyway. We took the dark squared bishop, which is fine. Then we went knight g5 with an f4 push, which I like. h3 to kick out that light square bishop. Apparently you can trade off, which is insane to me that you willingly go into this pawn structure. Oh, and then the tactics are still there, but yeah. We get these tactics. This is the best move. Great continuation, this. Apparently, oh, you can just take this with king takes, and you just you throw in check first, right? Yeah, you throw in check first, and then takes there, and then that's borderline mating. Yeah, they've got to give up the queen. That's silly from me. I should have seen that. But knight e8's a great continuation as well. I was thinking about trading off queens here. I don't think it's probably still fine. I like this. I don't know. I felt it kept the attack alive a bit. And obviously, if takes, I'd play this because they've got a weakness here. They've got a bit of a backwards pawn here. My rooks are a bit more active as well. So I'd take that. They play c4. Again, a great continuation. Bishop check, and then the counter check. Not the bishop check. The bishop attack on the queen, then the check. We go queen d4. And this is the point where we get to a minute on the clock. This is move 24. There are 56 moves. So half of the game was played in a minute. Wow. That's insane. We throw in this to sort of attack the rook at some point. I don't think it ever actually goes anywhere. But yeah, we start panic moving, trade things off. Apparently you can take this way, which is interesting, and start to maybe push some pawns a bit, which very, very interesting. As the sort of move I would like to play in a classical game, definitely not 1 minute on the clock. We attack their weakness. This is a weird attempt to play on the other side of the board. It doesn't really go anywhere. I definitely felt like they sped up as well. When we sped up because of our clock, they sped up as well, which doesn't help their cause. They have so much time to think about things. And there were a few points where they did pause, but you can definitely be thinking for way, way longer. Yeah, this just gives us a pawn, like straight up. And then this as well is a bit of a weak move. Like this at least targets this pawn. Yeah, I'm not sure what this was doing. And then the computer's saying there's a threat on e8 as well with the rook coming in here. Which, yeah, for sure there is, yeah. Knight f6, yeah, we just pick up another pawn. We're 2 pawns up at this point. And it feels like the only thing our opponent has going for them is our 30 seconds on the clock. We trade off. Apparently check here is the way to play. King up. Oh, because when you check with the rook, you're connecting the queen and the rook's defensive square. So you check with the queen instead. What? So why can't you go there? Oh, because of that? King there? And queen mate. Duh. So they have to give up the rook. They have to give up the rook, apparently. Queen takes. King there. And then you've got this at least. Winning the queen with the discovered check. So we probably should have seen that one as well. But again, low on time. And we're 2 pawns up in a queen endgame. It's hard to say this is completely winning because, I mean, especially with 30 seconds on the clock, queens are just so tricky, especially when you're kings like this. There are so many perpetual checks. It's not nice yet. We lose a pawn, granted. We do lose a pawn. Apparently it's a great move. Don't ask me why it's a great move that we lose the pawn, because apparently we just take this one is the answer. Which I did say we missed, to be fair. We try counterattack a bit. And we just, our sort of goal here, playing low on time against the queen, is to keep everything safe. Keep everything safe. We lose these pawns because this is the sort of endgame where it's so easy to just drop a pawn like that. And then the game's drastically changed. We're only up 1 pawn. And this is, while it's a passed pawn, it's also loose. And if we want to start pushing, we need to move the queen away from the pawn first. And at the same time, they do have all these threats with perpetuals on our king as well. So things aren't quite so simple. We luckily get the king to safety, and then this is actually mating like we saw. You go there, mate. Same thing if they go to the corner. And if they go here, king down. Not here. Queen there, king down, that's mate. I thought they could escape down here for some reason. I'm not sure why. Anyway, that was a crazy, crazy game. Half a game, 25 moves, played under a minute. That's ridiculous. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.